When I tell you I've tried all the kinds of budgeting methods from the mobile apps to the Excel sheets, it has been a long journey. So now I can tell you why your budgeting method right now may not be working for you despite all the tips that you Google and watch online. What's up, guys? It's Nick. As you know, I'm a recovered shopaholic, now a money mindset coach, empowering working professionals in crises to fund their freedom into reality. So just being honest here that for the past 6 years, I've done a lot of trial and error when it comes to expense tracking and budgeting. And then there would be months that it would work. Like I would save consistently, and then months later, eto na naman, shopping na naman. And it would just be this cycle that I'm trying to avoid. And when I was able to overcome this and started coaching my own clients, I realized that this is one of the common problems that they encountered as well, because like no matter how many tips, financial advice that they consume online, they still had a challenge to stick to their savings target. So now in this video, I'm gonna share with you the 3 reasons why your budgeting method right now may not be working for you, so that you could actually start saving consistently. If you're all about that, then make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel, because I don't miss out on a new video every single week. Now let's get into the 3 reasons why your budgeting may not be working for you. The first reason is you're still relying on self-control. So if you keep telling yourself and keep repeating to yourself that like, I just need self-control, I just need to be disciplined, I just need to have willpower, then I can really stick to my budget. Well, it doesn't work. Coming from a recovered shopaholic, the more I have a strict budget and tell myself like, eto lang yung pwede kong gamitin, all the more that I don't end up sticking to it. The thing is, if you're constantly like being strict to yourself and really setting like limits, specific limits, like the more you don't want to do it. It's kind of like, you know how your parents tell you like fix your bed or like mop the floors, wash the dishes. It's like all the more that you don't want to do it. If someone else is taking control of you, like if you feel like you're not in control, all the more that you don't want to do it. It's like this unconscious thing that we don't even realize. So the same thing with self-control. It's like if you keep telling yourself that there's something wrong with you, like, you know what, I just don't have discipline. I just don't have self-control. Kahit na you tell yourself na, eto lang yung isa-set ko na limit for my entertainment, for my Shopee haul, for my Lazada haul or whatever, like you still exceed. Because self-control is literally like 5% of what you need to work on. You know what is the rest of the 95%? Do you want to know what the 95% is? It's actually working on your limiting beliefs. And those limiting beliefs will reveal to you what is the root problem of why you're not able to stick to your commitments, to your budgets. So I share like before, like the reason why I kept shopping and not sticking to my budget, because I personally felt like I didn't really have a clear purpose or like a vision for my life. So like for me, spending was just like that short-term reward na, okay, I just want to reward myself for being stressed, for working so hard, so let me just shop to my extent. But then the thing is, there was a deeper problem. I realized I wasn't really being consistent to doing my passion projects, wanting to work on my business, because I've been ignoring that because I know it's hard. So the root problem really of my lack of self-control was my lack of commitment for doing what I actually want out of life. It might seem so far away because it's different if you realize it for yourself. You will realize that from your past experiences that there's a deeper root problem. It's not your self-control. It's your lack of understanding what you really want out of life. If alam mo that this is your dream, let's say to start a business, to live independently, to actually, let's say, exercise regularly, if you know that these are your clear goals, it would be easy for you to stick to a budget kasi alam mo that there is a purpose for having a budget. Having a budget is not to restrict yourself, but it's actually to help you prioritize what you actually need to spend on in order to fulfill your goals. When I coach my clients to get crystal clear on their goals, their mind is like freaking blown because they realize that they have been working for so long and not really understanding ano nga ba yung purpose of me working day in and day out. What are the things that I actually want to achieve as a result of money? Okay, so that's why I don't really want to talk about the surface level of budgeting, like, okay, dapat this method 7-20-10 or whatever it is. I focus on the mindset that you need to have on why you need to budget, why you need to save in the first place, because that's when it will really stick. If you want to invest in your dream life, if you want to actually achieve what you want out of life, the goals that you've always planned years ago but you never really took action on, it's going to be so much more effortless for you to realize that budgeting is just a tool. It's not the end goal. It's just a means for you to get to your dream life. So I actually dive into the step-by-step process for this in my 60-minute free training. So if you want access to it, just DM me on Instagram with the code SELF. That's SELF. If you just send me that word over on Instagram, I will send you the access to that training so that you can really understand how relying on self-control is overrated. There is something more empowering that you can focus on so that you can actually stick to your savings targets just like I did. Second reason why your budgeting method is still not working for you is because you have a depriving mindset. So you keep thinking that you need to deprive yourself in order to save. You keep saying that saving is just a process of depriving yourself and you just have to suck it up and deal with it. You're probably not saying it out loud. It's probably just like unconscious in your head. And when you do, notice how you feel. You feel like, oh, nakakatamad. Like, why do I have to do this? I can just enjoy life. Like, aren't you supposed to like earn money so that you can spend it? Like, why am I depriving myself? And then what do? You go back to your shopping habits. You go back to not tracking your expenses. You go back to not really understanding how you can save more consistently. Because again, if we are focusing on the mindset of lack, then we keep focusing on the lack. That's why my mission when I coach my clients is that I want them to feel like saving is freeing. This is where they can finally have the ability to commit to something and actually fund their dreams into reality. It's not like saving and then iiwan mo na lang dun sa bangko or iiwan mo na lang somewhere. There is a way to enjoy life now without worrying about your future. That's exactly what I do now, and that's exactly what I coach my clients on, is that there is a possibility for you to look at saving as a means for you to actually do what you want. Like for me in my corporate job, that's why I quit, because I didn't see myself there for the next year, for the next 3 years. So why do I have to keep staying there? Okay, so I use that as a way to like, okay, if I want to start the business, if I actually want to post more YouTube videos, in relation to my business, then I really had to save up for a more lasting freedom, for more lasting happiness. Okay, so that's what I did, and here I am now. It's like me doing my business full time and actually just being completely vocal about my experiences, my struggles, so that you can overcome them. Like, this is for me the dream life. Okay, it's not a means to like sa future pa, like 10 years from now, 20 years from now. Because what happens if you look at saving that way, na parang 10 years, 20 years down the road, edi you're gonna be like, tagal pa naman next time na lang, bahala na. And then you just don't end up doing it, and then before you know it, you're like 40 and 50, and then you're like, where did my money go? Like, I hear it from my clients when they finally reach out to me, like, it's been 7 years, it's been 10 years, wala pa rin silang ipon, even though that they have been working for so long. Like, it was a wake-up call for them to realize, like, teka lang, what do I actually want out of life? And how do I actually get there? And actually realizing that there is a possibility for you. If you want to get inspired on how you can do that for yourself, follow me on Instagram, where I share like daily mindful living tips on my IG stories. And you can also see like the wins of my clients who were able to do that for themselves as well. Reason number 3, and this is something that you don't even think is a mistake, but I've been there and this needs to be called out, which is spending too much time with expense tracking. When I say too much time, it's like you're tracking every single expense every single day, and then you check it for so much hours in a month. And guys, money shouldn't feel that such a burden. Like, if you feel like napaka-time consuming niya, and then in the end you just feel lazy to do it, because for me, that's what happened before. I was like, I'm gonna track my expenses daily. I have this app, I have this Excel sheet. I felt like I was such an adult with all of my pretty graphs and all of my nice colored columns, and then what? I just did that for like 2 months or something, and then I gave up, and then like I don't even know what happened. Maybe I blacked out and did the complete opposite. The point is, if something is too time consuming, pag sobrang daming kailangan gawin para ma-achieve mo yung gusto mo, tatamarin ka talaga. Handling your finances, it becomes such a daunting, overwhelming task for you to do. And then you realize, like, what's the point of even tracking my expenses when I just see all of lahat ng mga ginastusan ko that I feel guilty about, but when I look at the total amount of savings that I have, parang hindi naman siya naapektuhan. Parang halos nababawasan pa or wala namang natitira. And in the end, you just feel demotivated. And that's what happens when you spend too much time expense tracking rather than, for me, I just check my monthly expense tracker twice a month, which you can download, by the way, through the link below. It's my monthly expense tracker that I used up to this day. That's the same Excel sheet that I've used for the times that I actually were able to stick to my savings targets. Okay, so you can check that out and download it for yourself. That's why I advocate about keeping things simple, because when it's simple enough, you stick to it. And that's the same concept that I apply with coaching my clients, with my one-on-one programs. All of my exercises, all of my coaching, all of my modules are so simple yet effective. Look at how you are doing things right now and how you can simplify them. But one thing that you should take note of is that before you simplify your finances, you need to work on mastering your money mindset first. That's why I talked about not relying on self-control anymore and not having a depriving mindset, because only when you really let go of those kinds of attitudes and mindsets, that's only when you can really fully step into the kind of person who looks at money as a way that can work for them, not the other way around, that you're just so exhausted, so frustrated with managing your finances. I hope that this is an eye-opener for you to really understand that budgeting is just a means for you to get what you want out of life, to really fund your dreams into reality. That's why it needs to be a balance of really working on your mindset blocks and also looking at how you can simplify your finances. And that is like the best mix that I do myself, that has worked for me and my clients, so that we can actually do what we want out of life and achieve the goals that we want. Because isn't that the point of managing our finances in the first place? If you want to learn more tips on my journey from shopaholic to saving $500,000, then check out these two videos where I dive into like my struggles and how I was able to overcome that as well. So I will see you guys there.